ITM10 Live in the Mountains. I'm here with Joel Williams and Luke White, and they are from the Appalachian Theater and Dance Department. So how are you guys today?
Good.
Great.
Good. Thank you guys so much for being here. So Joel, first off, you're a professor.
That's correct.
At ASU, and you guys are here to promote a play that you guys are going to be doing. So tell us a little bit about what classes you teach, and a little bit about the play that we're going to be talking about today.
Sure. I teach some of the basic introduction to theater courses, but my specialty sort of is stage direction, and I'm directing the play Tartuffe, and I also teach stage management and sort of those sorts of courses that have to do with getting a play off the page and onto the stage.
All right, that sounds great. I always used to want to do theater. Do you have any suggestions for like speech? Because clearly I've been having some issues this morning getting some words out.
Here's some vocal warm-ups.
Well,
Vocal
that's the thing. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, those sorts of things. I like to tell the students it's a muscle like anything else. It's very complex, but it's just training, practice, rehearsal.
Must be exercised.
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
Must be exercised regularly.
Yes. Well, I talk a lot, so I get a lot of exercise. I don't know how good I'm getting with my technique, though. So tell us a little bit about the play you guys are doing.
You want to go for it?
Sure. It's Tartuffe. It's a 17th century French comedy by the playwright Molière, and it's a satire on religious hypocrisy. I play Tartuffe, and he has come to this family and convinced the father of the household that I'm a religiously pious man, humble and serving God, and but everyone around him, everyone else in the family knows that I'm actually a fraud. And I'm just trying to swindle the father of all his money and his wife and his daughter and the household and the property.
Wow, that's tricky. So you're kind of but it's also a comedy, right?
Yes.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
Because he's a con man, but the character of the father, Orgon, is very gullible. And so in his gullibility, and his mother is also a character in the play at the beginning and end, also very gullible. Both of them have been taken in by this con man. They believe that he's there and he's going to help solve all their family problems. And of course, the daughter and the son and the wife are all going, "You guys are nuts." One of my favorite characters is the household maid.
Possibly the smartest character in the whole
show. I haven't brought up the fact with the cast because they're not old enough to know. There used to be a television show when I was very small, an old black and white television show called Hazel. It was about a maid who sort of ran this 1950s household, and every time something would go wrong, she'd solve the problems. And it's a pretty standard character. Some of the roots of this play go all the way back to the earliest forms of Renaissance theater, the Commedia dell'arte, where it was not so much about the play itself, but about the characters. And so Doreen is sort of the classic sassy, smart, intelligent servant who helps manipulate and solve all the problems of the household. So she's seen right through Tartuffe as the con man that he is. The daughter, the wife, and the son are all just cannot believe that the husband's so gullible. Or the father is so gullible to have believed this man.
So before we went on air, we actually talked about this play was actually for Louis XIV.
Right.
So the original takes place in that era. However, you guys have put it. Did you guys change it to the?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the changes you made.
Well, one of the reasons for changing the play is I didn't want it to come off as a museum piece. We also have, if you're trying to do 16th century costumes, they're kind of expensive to
I can imagine.
Design, put
very
together.
elaborate, I'm sure.
And we've just come off a production that was one of our very elaborate shows, and we try to balance time and money and other resources during each semester. We usually do 2 shows a semester. One's usually a little larger and more involved than the other. And so this is our studio production. We're doing it over in our small IG Greer Theater. And not wanting to do it as a museum piece with 16th century or 17th century costumes, I was looking for a place to move it. And I was playing around with different dialects for the show, and the show was translated from the French by an American poet named Richard Wilbur. Originally, it was written in verse, and Richard Wilbur maintained that. It's very strong Alexandrian rhymed couplets, sort of like a fairy tale sort of thing. So one of the things we worked very hard on is keeping out of that da 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 rhythm, so it sounds more natural. And I was playing with different dialects to see. Just one day, I was reading it aloud, trying to figure out what I might want to do with it. And I tried Southern. And Southern dialect just seemed to add a real nice flavor and humor to it, especially when you get into religious extreme behavior sometimes. Madame Purnell, the father's mother, the grandmother of the children, says, whatever he reproves deserves reproof. And it just fit very Southern. So when I thought, well, Southern accent works pretty good. It's a French play. There are lots of messieurs and madames. And if you think, oh, Southern,
right,
where are you going to put it? Louisiana, because of the French influence of Louisiana. And then I needed a time period. I said, is it going to be contemporary? I don't know. The father has a marriage contract with his daughter. She's been betrothed to another young man. But when Tartuffe comes in the house, the father decides, well, he'll be a much better match. He says of the young man, he says, I hear he gambles, and that bothers me. So, Tartuffe will be a perfect match for you.
Oh, my goodness.
And so she's very upset. But so you needed a time period where young girls would not, defy their father.
Mm-hmm.
And also there's a reference to the king at the end of the play, because if you're writing a play during Louis XIV's reign, you want to give the king a big, a mention in the play. And so I was thinking about I'm not a history buff. Well, I am sort of a history buff, but not a history professor. But I remembered from some history class that a really popular Louisiana governor was a man named Huey Long. And so I thought, well, when was he governor? I went back and looked. It was in the 30s. And he's actually very appropriate. We hear
his
so
nickname?
much of... Yeah, his nickname is the Kingfisher. That was one of the reasons I latched onto it, because he's the king. And his big political campaign was every man a king. And I thought, okay, well, there's enough stuff there to make that work.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was very much into the, today you hear a lot about the one percenters versus,
Right.
well, he was into, we've got a little snippet of a speech we play at the top of the show. He was saying I think he was saying 4% of the population versus, So the political themes the play's not political per se, but because it has that connection to the king, and Louis would have been writing, Moliere would have been writing for Louis XIV. There's an element to it. I think a big theme from the play too, the thing that strikes me, is moderation. Mm-hmm. There's a brother-in-law in the play, Orgon's brother-in-law, his wife's brother, who is we've created him sort of as a lawyer. He's in the original writing would have been the voice of reason in the play, somebody who says this is the moral lesson, this is what you should learn. And at the end of the play, he says moderation is the thing. You can't jump between this extreme, because when Orgon finally discovers that Tartuffe is a con man, he goes, from now on I'll hate all religious people, and I'll persecute them worse than Satan could. And the brother-in-law goes, be moderate.
Right.
And since it's election day here on
oh
November
wow,
4th,
that's actually kind of perfect.
Yeah, right now, we're a very polarized culture, and I think just personally that moderation wouldn't be a bad thing for some of our behaviors.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
So Luke, tell me a little bit about what you did to prepare to actually become the main character.
Well, that's kind of funny. I started out on this project as the assistant director. So I was with Joel in casting and was given a scene of the show to direct myself. It turned out that our Tartuffe, who was originally cast, wasn't able to perform the role, so I actually stepped in a little over a week ago.
Oh wow! So you haven't had much time, but you've had you've been.
But I've been with the show. I understand what's happening and have sat in on every rehearsal, so it wasn't too much to take on. The lines.
It was primarily learning the lines.
Just learning the lines.
Or you understood
and getting
the
that dialect perfect.
Yeah, well,
or
the
as best
dialect
as you
kind of
can.
comes naturally, being in the South and all. But
oh, that's perfect. See, I would love to do stuff like that. I love to do accents. I always tease Max and tell him that I'm going to just start doing a British accent at
There
just
you go.
random and see what
Right,
happens, you
right.
know.
See if anyone catches on.
Yeah, see if anybody notices, you know. But I don't know. I haven't gotten the courage to do that yet. But well, good luck. Congratulations.
Thank
I know it's
you.
always fun to get the main role and have fun with it. And it sounds like you guys are doing a really good job in taking, you know, a play from way back and really putting kind of a modern twist on it. Even if it is in the 30s, it's still, you know, more recent.
Much
so.
more acceptable or recognizable,
Yeah,
relevant
absolutely.
to a more modern
Absolutely.
audience.
Well, it sounds like an amazing play. It sounds like a really good play. And of course, and I'm a huge fan of comedy. So, tell us when your shows are.
Well, we open tomorrow, Wednesday, November the 5th, and we run Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights at 7:30. Then we have a Sunday matinee at 2, and we do that for 2 weeks. So the 5th through the 12th, and then the
16th.
No, it's the 5th through the 9th, and then the 12th through the 16th. That's what it is. Wednesday to Sunday.
And how much are tickets?
Tickets are $9 for students and $16 for adults.
And where can we get the tickets? Can we get them at the door?
Tickets can be. I would encourage people to arrange for their tickets early. The studio space is a small auditorium; only holds about 100 people. So the tickets tend to sell out. So the tickets can be purchased online. If you go to theater.appstate.edu, it'll take you to a home page, and right over on the right side of the page, there's a Buy Tickets Online link. You can call our box office, which is 828-262-3063 directly. If you're on campus, you can get tickets at the Valborg Theater, which is right off King Street, right behind the Turchin Center, or at the Schaefer Center box office as well, and that's right off River Street.
So what theater is the play going to be?
The theater is
presented?
in the I.G. Greer Studio Theater. It's right across the street from the administration building on campus.
Okay.
It's in a basement sort of space. If anybody's familiar with the on-campus SGA film series that they show on weekends, we're located underneath the film auditorium. We're down in it's a converted band room from many years ago. It's a very nice, intimate space, perfect for comedy. You get to see all the facial expressions.
Oh, good.
It's we're very excited to have it in that space.
Look for the big red door.
Okay.
Yes, there's a sign overhead that says I.G. Greer Studio Theater, and there's the big red door.
All right. Well, this sounds great. Well, congratulations again on your role, and good luck with opening night tomorrow. And yeah, be sure to check them out. Go online, get your tickets, and it's a great way to spend an evening. Come catch a comedy and maybe learn a little something.
Hopefully.
All right. Well, thanks again so much for being here, you guys.
It was our pleasure.
We'll be right back after this.